Eternals is perhaps the most mysterious project on Marvel Studios' Phase 4 slate, introducing a brand new set of characters into the ever-growing universe. Now, fans have been treated to their first look at the Eternals and a Marvel Studios sizzle reel, so it's time to break down every tidbit seen in the brand new footage and discuss all 8 Easter eggs that we have discovered. Number 8. Ajax Healing Horses. Salma Hayek's Ajax is the first new hero showcased in the trailer, trading in her Eternals gear for a cowboy hat and a new steed. Ajax is seen striding up on her horse in a wide-open plain, seemingly a display of the practical locations that Eternals will show off. While her appearance is peculiar at first, a previous description for Ajax may reveal what the character is doing here. Ajax is the spiritual leader of the Eternals. Her wisdom has helped guide the team since they arrived here from their home planet to defend humanity from the deviants and to help humans advance to the modern civilization that they live in today. Ajax can not only heal humans and Eternals alike, but she is able to communicate with Celestials as well. Perhaps Ajax's abilities to heal and communicate with other beings could extend to animals, with her powers potentially allowing her to heal and talk to horses. Upon arriving on Earth, all the Eternals assume human identities to blend in with the world's population. This shot could suggest that Ajax has become some kind of stable hand, using it as a harmless facade to aid humanity's development simultaneously. Whether Hayek's character is a horse whisperer or just prefers this mode of transport, it is at the very least clear that the Eternals are doing their best to blend into human society. You think that's exciting? Well, wait for what you're going to see next. Number 7. A welcoming ceremony or a sad farewell? The shot where the 2 Eternals move to touch hands, revealing that these appendages belong to Liam McHugh's Sprite and Gemma Chan Cersei. This frame gives us a good look at some details of the Eternals' costumes, such as their colorful gradients and many engravings that reaffirm their spatial origins. The subsequent shot continues by showing, from left to right, Barry Keoghan's Druid, Lauren Ridloff's Makkari, Sprite, Cersei, Angelina Jolie's Thena, and Brian Tyree Henry's Phastos. So why are the Eternals uniting on a beach? The film's titular heroes are notably suited up in this sequence, which could potentially suggest that this is occurring towards the beginning of the group's tenure on Earth. Several objects in the background appear to be bits of wreckage, possibly from some sort of pod or spacecraft that could have brought Sprite to Earth. With Sprite physically appearing to be the youngest of the Eternals, perhaps she is subsequently the last to join the group, and the team is uniting to welcome her arrival to Earth. Alternatively, this could be the moment where the team splits off to assimilate into the ranks of humanity, giving one last goodbye before they reunite 7,000 years later. Sprite's character description notes that she has a friendship with Cersei, so their connection in this scene could be a display of just that. Number 6. Thena fights. Another Eternal? Angelina Jolie's Thena gets her own time to shine, wielding a glowing blade as she battles an oncoming foe. While it may be expected that Jolie's character would be facing off against a deviant, her opponent seems to be a bit more human-like. Continuing this thread of Eternals duking it out, what if Thena is fighting another of her kind? The person in question does seem to resemble Gilgamesh physically, having rather large arms that match Madong Sauk. Oddly enough, though, Gilgamesh is described as being the kindest member of the team, so it will be interesting to see the reasoning behind this squabble, if the mysterious combatant is, in fact, Sauk's character. This encounter is followed by Thena bringing her blade in for a close-up, showing off the intricate yet delicate details of the shining saber. With Kit Harington portraying the Black Knight in Eternals, this sword could be the MCU's interpretation of the Ebony Blade. The weapon grants its wielder a wide array of powers in the comics, including the ability to slice and dice through any substance, retroactive immortality, and energy absorption. It will be interesting to see what abilities are brought over in the movie incarnation, or if the sword will just be left as a glorified cutting device. Thena obtaining this blade could therefore point to her actually combating Dane Whitman's Black Knight, as opposed to Gilgamesh in this scene, making for an explosive introduction to Harrington's character. Number 5. The City of the Space Gods. The Eternals are next seen in dilapidated ancient ruins, this time all suited up. Makkari shows off her super speed right off the bat as she assembles alongside Thena, Gilgamesh, Ikaris, and Kumail Nanjiani's Kingo. Going back to the Lego sets once again for guidance, a similar scenario in One of the Kids may suggest that this scene will see another encounter between the Eternals and the Deviants. The background of the Lego set indicates that this location may be part of a larger ancient city, with the gates seemingly being the Babylonian monument Ishtar Gate in Mesopotamia. One city that is connected to Eternals lore in the pages of Marvel Comics is the City of the Space Gods, which was a network of Incan temples located in the Andes. The structures were built by the Incans in ancient times to honor the Celestials and were subsequently used by Ajax to communicate with them. Perhaps the MCU may have shifted this Eternals-related location to ancient Mesopotamia or present-day Iraq to fit in with the history-bending narrative that the characters center around. One of the Celestials, Arishem the Judge, then descends to meet with the Eternals, a character who also seems to be making an appearance in the movie. Perhaps this will be the location where the Eternals talk to their creators before a deviants attack them super speed. Hidden within the city of the space gods also lies a resurrection crypt, which was used to revive Ajax in the comics. The tragedy is said to strike the Eternals in the film, so there may be a chance that the team travels to the ruins to reverse one of their demise. Number 4. Gemma Chan Cersei gets the spotlight. In one of the first powers revealed in the trailer, Gemma Chan Cersei uses her eternal powers to bring water to this village of humans. This leads to what seems to be flourishing crops and water resources this group had not seen before. This is a simple example of how and why the Eternals were revered as gods and saviors to the elders of man. With Gemma Chan being touted as the lead of Eternals, it makes sense that she would get her own spotlight as Cersei in the brief bits of footage. Chan's character is seen in a desert location, not dissimilar to the one where the ruins were based. The palm trees match the artwork of previous merchandise, so it is likely that both this shot and the previous scene will take place in the same general location. Cersei's line of "We're the ones who changed everything"
guided. We have helped them progress.
Refers to the fact that the Eternals have influenced humanity's development over the course of history, but it remains to be seen who she is explaining this to. This may come as a bit of exposition, possibly to a character like Dane Whitman, who may not be aware of the group's associated lore. This could conversely be aimed towards the Eternals themselves, being part of an impassioned speech to motivate them against the impending threat. If the Eternals were able to change everything, they can certainly overcome the mounting evil that opposes them. This may be supported by Cersei's character description, which says that she is helping Akaris to recruit the Eternals for one last mission. This line may be part of a grander monologue to get the other Eternals on board. Number 3. Cersei through the years. It seems apparent that this movie will take audiences on a journey across the history of the MCU, through the eyes of the Eternals. But a very strange scene depicts the star of the show, Gemma Chan as Cersei, being shown in this time jump in real time. Her clothes do not change as the environment, and surely the calendars change around her. This could be a look at the process in which these Eternals are awoken from their cover story lives as humans. Perhaps the more interesting frame is an embrace with Hayek's Ajax and Tyree Henry's Phastos, as he is overcome with emotion. This could be the first look at the transition these Eternals have to go through, which is sure to be an overwhelming experience. Number 2. Angelina Jolie squares off against a familiar shield. Angelina Jolie has been the star of the action scene from the under 3 minutes of footage released thus far. The warrior goddess Athena is capable of using her Eternals magic to conjure any handheld weapon with finesse and mastery. It could be a coincidence, but the shields being held by these soldiers have a familiar star across the middle. Captain America's shield had the same star in the middle of the shield. As far as we know the Marvel Universe, there is always a connection or a reason behind it. There is no telling when these scenes take place, but it is hard to imagine the Star-Spangled Man didn't inspire these ancient soldiers with a plan. Number 1. Who's going to lead the Avengers? The last and most interesting one is who will be leading the Avengers. The Eternals trailer ends on a lighter note, with the Eternals discussing who will lead the Avengers.
So now that Captain Rogers and Iron Man are both gone, who do you think's gonna lead the Avengers?
Now that Iron Man and Captain Rogers are gone. While this is pitched as nothing more than a moment of fun, it's actually crucial in reminding viewers this film is part of the same shared universe, and it definitely positions Eternals in the MCU timeline. It's interesting to note the Eternals refer to Captain America as Captain Rogers, perhaps indicating a past connection to the Star-Spangled Man with a plan. Perhaps they even crossed his path briefly during World War II. That's it for today. So, what do you think of the new trailer of Eternals and the way they introduce new heroes? Who was your favorite of them all? Do let me know in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There is a lot more exciting content to come. You don't want to miss that.